this is Colleen with Designs of Value Art. Welcome back to my studio. And today we're going to continue with our Peach Rose. Now, I do have to apologize because I started it with a new camera on the last set of petals, and unfortunately it didn't film it correctly. It was very washed out, unacceptable for me to even present to you because you couldn't tell where the petals were. It was so washed out. So what we're going to do is we've gotten this far, and I'm going to we need to redo this one for the second pass. We need to redo this one for the second pass, and then we still have a big one here, a smaller one here, and a complicated one here. So you're going to get to see me do quite a few petals yet, and that's still just the first pass. So we'll go ahead, and I'm going to do this one first, and it's going to be the second coat on this one. And all I'm going to do is add just a touch of water. This is such a small area, so all I did was wipe a little bit of the water off of my water brush because I didn't want to flood it. The minute you flood it, that's when it goes to the edges, and you have too much water in the area that you're trying to add color to. You don't want that. Checking the side of my paper to make sure I'm getting it right where I want it. And this is actually a continuation of this petal up here. It's the outside bowl of that big petal. But I want to get the color in there so we know where we're at. Okay. So what I did with this one is I did add a little bit of pink to it, and the other ones I added a little bit of yellow to it. So we're pretty similar. This has still got a lot of yellow in it, more so than the others, but if you look at your resource material, it's pretty bright yellow on that petal, so I don't think it's going to be a big issue at all. Wow, there's this one spot right here I just can't seem to get wet. There we go. That's better. Okay, I'm going to let that soak in for a moment. Yeah, I've never had a camera do that to me. Once I figured out what I needed to do with the exposure, seems to be working much better now, thank goodness. Not a happy camper when I saw that, but what are you going to do? So I'm going to start out with a little bit of the yellow peach color, and I want to put this all over this petal, this portion of this petal. I did go ahead and pre-mix some of these so that you wouldn't have to be bored watching me do that. And full disclosure, I did say this at the beginning of the design as I started, I do go around to all the outside of the petals and make sure that I clean those up so that they're not soaking into that paper for so long that you can't get them up. Don't want that. So the longer you leave any mistakes on there, the harder it is to get it to come up. So you want to do it right away, and I'm talking about using your eradicator. Probably one of the most important tools we own is our eradicator. I have two different sizes. I have one Billy Showell, which is a smaller one, which works really well. And then I also have a Rosemary and Co., which is a larger one that works real well too. And they both have their uses for sure. Okay. Now I've cleaned the color out of my brush, and I've put in the yellow peach in the background and then the more peachy peach on top of it as the dark value. I'm just going to soften that in so it blends in real well. There we go. Perfect. Okay. I think we're going to redo this one as well. It's another, it's just actually a portion of a petal. It's the top of this petal here. Because it's pretty pale. So I want to get that, I mean, I don't want it to be the exact color as the under part of the petal, but I do want to have a little bit more color in there than what I have right now. So we're going to go over it again. And this one too, we'll do that one next. Always look at the side of your paper to make sure you have the water right where you want it. And with this being the second or third coat, you really don't need to do more than one glaze on these. Now I'm going to put in the lighter with the yellow first color, and then we'll deepen it with the straight peach. I'm pretty impressed with the Phoenix. I'm going to grab it here to make sure I'm saying it correctly. Yeah, Phoenix Professional Watercolor. It's called Rose D'Or, and it's the perfect peach color that I've been able to find. I have a real hard time blending on my palette a peach. For some unknown reason, I just keep getting either red or orange. I can't seem to get it in between, but this is the really beautiful color. So I was happy I found it. I think I got it on Dick Blick. Sounds about right. I just look at my resource material here. Yeah, this is right. And as I want it darker in those corners, then I'm going straight to the pile of not so much water, because I want to have that darker. And this back edge I want to have darker because I want it to bend over, make it go away from us. So and again, this is just our mapping in. We haven't even thought about any details, but you do want to think about your petals before you paint them. What can I do to make that look more realistic? And by adding the darker value at the top of this petal, it's going to make it go away from you, which is exactly what we want it to do. So you want to think about it that way, and then the detail later is going to make it even more so. So I love painting flowers, whether it be a rose or any other flower in the world. I'll paint. It's just my favorite thing to do. I do like doing still lifes too, though, so we'll have to get around to doing another one soon. It's always kind of nice to add a vase. Just gonna deepen some of these areas here a little bit as we go. Since I didn't have any water on those areas, I wet my brush and go back in and soften the edge so it flows away and doesn't create a harsh line. But yeah, I like to have like a vase with flowers in it, and I get to paint two of my favorite things in the world. Still lifes and florals all at the same time then. Just deepening this again, because I want that to really stand out. There we go. you need to soften anything in, go ahead and do it now before it dries. There we go. That looks good. So I'm going to dry those 2 petals and I'll be right back with you, and then we'll do our second pass on this petal and we should be able to move right into one of these other ones. So I'll be right back with you. Okay, I got everything nice and dry, cool to the touch, so we're good to go there. You always want to take your painting away from your paint palette and dry it away from your paint palette, because you don't want to dry out your paints. Those are set up the way you want them, so you want to continue. But see how much nicer this one looks? This one looks better too. So let's go ahead and do that right here on this guy. Put our water down first. I have an edge to clean up there and an edge to clean up there, and I do have another one down here. So this entire petal needs to have my eradicator to clean up. I'm not worried about the inside edges because the other petals are going to take care of that, but that outside with that blue, you want to make sure you don't have the peach or yellow peach color on it. You want to be careful when you use the eradicator though, because you don't want to take up the blue background. You'll have a real hard time matching it. So you just got to be real careful and just take your time. And that's why I'm not doing it on camera. I think I showed it to you a couple of times, but we can do another one on this one. You can see how I use the eradicator to pick that color up without pressing hard enough that I'm not picking up that background. So I'll show you on this one when it's dry. And I would suggest that you go ahead and do that at the end of each painting session so it doesn't dry overnight. If you can help it, you don't really want that. All right, let me put my water brush down. I'm going to pick up my same number 4 that we've been using. Actually, it's the number 2. I have to apologize. So the very top is going to get the straight peach color, and it'll be lighter than what you have on your palette because there's water on the petal. So always keep that in mind. Plus it always dries about 20% lighter than the way it looks as you first apply it. But this petal is almost like 2 petals. It just goes right down the center here. One side is going to be peach, the other side is going to be the peach yellow. And again, this is just color mapping it in so we can see where we're at and what we need to do next. All right, so I'm going to pick up my other color. It's just a couple values different, but again, the more values you can get into your painting, the more realistic it will look. I'm just going back to my palette and reloading my brush, rolling it into a point. Billy Showell brushes are phenomenal for that reason alone, just because of that great point. And boy, I'll tell you, they last forever. So if you can see your way clear of adding some of her brushes into your brushes, they'd be phenomenal for you because they last for a long time. I've probably got 3 sets of them now, and I'm still working on my first set. They haven't really had a problem with them. whatsoever. So okay, I'm going to dry that section one more time. That's a pretty big petal. I don't want it to not dry good enough, so I'll be right back with you. Okay, I got everything nice and dry, cool to the touch. What I'm going to do, excuse me, with this petal is I'm going to keep the top portion okay. That's fine as far as value. What I want down here is a darker value. If you look at your resource material, and I'll bring it on camera so you can see it. See how dark that is? So we're going to darken that up. What I've done is and I'm not going to add any water to this because I don't want to lighten the value anymore. We'll lay this new color down. It's just the peach or the rose door from the Phoenix, which is the peach color. I keep calling it a peach color, and that's what it is. I've blended that along with, what are they calling the red color we're using? Quinacridone Rose. So it's those two colors. It's kind of a nice blend of those two colors. And we're just going to use it to deepen and darken this under portion. We'll have to do that on this next petal too. Whether we actually do that petal next or not is something I'll have to take a look at. But this starts right around, yeah, that's going to work great in this area. Now it's going on much drier, of course, because I have not added any water. And again, this is just, excuse me, just the base of the petal. It's no detail going in or anything like that. Now I don't want that to dry into a real harsh line. So I just cleaned out my brush and have a damp brush. And I'm going to run across this edge just to soften it away. The only time you see any straight harsh lines in florals is if you're adding veins. So you always want to keep that in mind. You don't want it real harsh. Just going to continue to add the color. But yeah, that combination of colors is going to be great. Give us that nice deep dark that we're looking for here. I'm going to soften this edge again here as it looks like the water's drying harsh, so we'll just soften that away. And if we have to, excuse me, I keep losing my voice from my allergies. If we have to, we can always reinforce this color too, but I don't think we will. I think it's going to work out real well. Picking up a little bit more color and adding it in. So used to having it nice and wet, doing a wet on wet wash, but All right, now I'm going to dry this, and then I'm going to show you how I clean up that edge with the eradicator. Especially after this coat, it's going to need it, just because it's so much darker in this area. All right, I'm going to dry that real quick, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, I'm back. I even took a drink of water in hopes that that would help my throat. So let's see. I have my Billy Showell eradicator. It's a smaller bristle. Just see if you can see that or not. There we go, that's better. It's a smaller bristle. This is the rosemary and coal, and it's a much wider flat. And just depends on which one you think is going to do the best job for you. I always have cloth on my lap, excuse me, and paper towel in my left hand, so I can go ahead and pick it up as I remove the color off of the blue. Gently, 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 gently wiggle that brush back and forth. I'd rather see you do 2 passes than one heavy pass, because one heavy pass is going to remove that blue background and you're going to be in trouble. So just do one light. And this one I need another one at, so we'll do another light one and it should bring it up. Yep, it's doing it. But you don't want to pick up that blue background. I'll spit it out. All right, let's start up here. I don't like to brush back and forth with my paper towel either, because that can rough up the paper. But this makes such a beautiful edge on these petals. I'm going to get into that corner here. Make sure you can see me. There we go. Much more professional looking when you do this. And we got just this bottom edge here on this petal, and then I'll go around and redo whatever else I need to off camera. You don't need to be bored to tears and watch me do that. But I just wanted you to see what I was talking about one more time here. Never hurts. I do this every single time at the end of the day that I'm done painting. And I just clean up my edges, probably a good way to say it, and makes it look much more realistic and more professional. Yeah, it's a lot more work, but oh well. If you want your items to look good, this is what you want to do then. I'm just going to clean up this edge too. See how quickly that takes that right up. Wipe your eradicator in between each pass, because otherwise you're picking up paint, and if you don't wipe it off, and you're going to be reapplying the paint you just picked up. So that's important to know too. And the reason I'm cleaning off the inside of this one is it's so much darker here. The next petal will probably not be as dark. So that's something else you want to think about. Do I need to clean off the inside, or is it going to be a pretty close value to what's there. This one's not, so we're going to clean it. It's not too bad. There we go. Okay. So we're good. We got that nice and clean. Let's go ahead and do this big petal. And I'm just going to bring the resource material out. The picture will be in the upper corner, but so it's actually, we skip over this flip. Okay. So we're going to be doing this portion of this petal. We're going to ignore this flip for right now too. We'll come back in and do those two flips. So the first thing we want to do is add water. This is virgin paper, so we're going to add 2 layers of water. And I'm going real careful underneath that flip to get water in there, and trying to ignore the flip itself. I don't want to get that in there or wet yet. So we want that to be a lighter value. Now, as we get down here, I'm going to just take my pencil, and this is easily erased. So I'm going to look at my tracing, which is backwards, of course. So bear with me for a moment while I separate it here and put it the right way. There we go. Okay, now I want, cool. Okay, so we got some of that flip. Aha, there, that's better. I'm just gonna draw a quick pencil line here. It's just about where I had it. That's great. Actually, it's right exactly where I had it. Just reinforcing in my mind where this petal is. Goes like that. And then like that. Now, what I am going to do, because I don't want that to become permanent, I'm going to take my kneaded eraser that I always have on hand in my studio here and just soften it. But it's still going to, in my mind, because I just drew that line in, it's going to reinforce it as to where that is. So yeah, that looks better. I can tell more of where I need to go. With my water. Up on that edge is just that bottom portion that we're doing. That looks pretty good. Want to make sure you get right up to your edges. I missed a spot over here, so we're going to fill that in. Right down to this corner. Okay, I'm gonna let that soak in for a minute since this is 300-pound paper. Takes a moment to soak in, making sure my corners are where they need to be and all of that. And I didn't miss anything. It looks pretty good. All right, we'll let that soak in for a moment. Then we'll do another coat in the center. Went to the eye doctor yesterday for it's getting to be about a 1.5 year exam. I had major eye surgery with retinal hole that had to be repaired. So I go right to the surgeon and have him do my yearly exam because I really trust him. He saved my eyesight. But they put that staining stuff in your eye, and then they open your eyes wide open with the other product that they put in, and couldn't see a thing. Yesterday I was going to paint on this yesterday. I thought, oh no, I can't see anything. And it's still, things have a yellow cast to me because of that yellow stuff that they put in your eye. Oh well, something you got to get used to, I guess. Okay, I'm going to a larger brush. This one is a Billy Showell number 4. And I'm going to go back to instead of my drawing, I'm going to go back to my resource material here and just take a look. So we're kind of darker all the way underneath that flip, which would make sense, down this edge and up that edge. So we're going to start there with the darker pink. I'm just loading my brush and rolling it so I get that nice point. And this does come all the way down to about here with this darker value. You want that nice and dark underneath there if you can get it. We're going to be doing a couple more layers and darker values and so forth. So it doesn't hurt to try to get it darker right now though either. Again, the more values you can put in your paintings, the more realistic they look. Very important. Start down this edge. And I don't have to turn the Great. Now I'm going to clean my brush and I'm going to pick up the yellow peach color, and that's basically going to go right in the center of where we're at. Need a little bit more water in my pile of paint here. Yeah, that's what it needed. just a bit more of an orange cast to it. And both those colors are in there. Now I don't think we're even going to have to blend these. They're just going to be wet enough that they should go right into each other, so that's a good thing. Now, if I wanted to blend those together, I'll show you what I would have done. Clean my brush, wipe it out a little bit, still want some moisture in there, and just kind of wick it between the two values. Very simple. Just make those colors blend together. Actually, I think I'm going to bring just a little bit more of that color down in here. All right. So good. We got that one done. Since that's such a big one, I am going to dry it just because I don't want it to make a mess all over. So I'll be right back with you.